Okay,
Real one?
it's real one, sorry. Nice to call our April. Town Board meeting to order. Members present. Everybody is here except me. I don't even know. Joe Cassano, David Baird, James McNamara, Diane Magliosi, Administrator Patty Hazel, and investment consultant Stan Starr. Stan,
Sir,
go.
thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. We should hopefully have number one, the typical unofficial summary. We haven't gotten the net of for March yet. It'll be there tomorrow. Anyways, that being said, it was a difficult March. We lost percentage-wise 1.4, which happened to be exactly what it was up in January. So for the year, it leaves us with a positive 0.25%. On the bottom part where I summarize the different years of private equity, I ended up combining the years 2024 that are still just being funded and 25 together is for $63,000. It was 58 and 5, but I've run out of room, so I got to work on something else on that one. But anyways, its total is accurate on it too. The PRIT cash, you can see, is nearly 4%, 3.1 million. Patty, you probably have an update on that going into the new year as well. It was interesting. One of the things I looked at, and I'm going to get ahead of myself a little bit, but the amount of interest we're earning as a result of what we've moved those monies into that now reportable. If you recall, the monies in cash used to be below the line of my reporting. Now it's within it because of the general, very, very advantageous to get involved, besides leaving it with the local banks getting basically nothing. So for what that's worth, it serves one very good purpose, income, but in times where the market does well, it's that much less we have to be able to work with. So we're not getting the target rate of 7%. We're getting 4.5% by my latest calculations, which is quite good. That's better than you're going to get anywhere else that I know of that's still safe. I calculated it was $12,191 was the amount of earned. That's in your 1B. Not you didn't need to go there. That was the number though, 12,191. If I annualize that to $146,000 because I multiply it by 12, if it stays the same, which it won't, that comes to 4.5% on the latest month. So that's a good thing. There's ideas that they might be cutting the rates twice this year. I've heard nothing more about it. It's last year they thought it'd be 5 cuts. There were 2. This year they talk about 2. There may be 2. There may be 1. There may be 0. Unknown. So that will affect the rate short term as well, because they're doing the same purchasing where they are with that kind of rate of return. So for what that's worth, the best guesstimate I can make for the month of April, which started off not well, is about a negative 0.5% as we sit here. Again, barring what happens tomorrow, the next day in the new month. So I get approximately, to be exact, I put in 0.47. It's not an exact science. It's a very much a guesstimation on the individual averages that are comprised what we've computed. There's no recommendations for trades from yours truly at this point. That could have been had it held up with about a negative 11 or 12% loss during the course of the month, but they've recovered about half of that. And with the market still at war at several places, with there's still now the tariff, something else we can worry about, and causes the market more consternation than perhaps it should. I'm not recommending any changes to the either a sale or a buy of, that's my unofficial recommendation. The monthly withdrawals from the portfolio continue to be hovering around the 400,000 level. At least it was for the month of March, and most recently, we also 400 on. Last month, was it not 400? And now it's going to be 5. So not a lot of money to play with here. It's just going out the door. And perhaps when we get into summertime where we build up a little bit of cash and the market's down, there could be an entertaining to go something. But right now, it's done well through March. I think the market, the S&P specifically, was negative about, I got to remember around 6 or 7%. Versus a positive 0.25%. So they've done their job in being diversified and keeping things reasonably covered. And there's no reason, in my opinion, to make any moves at this point. Again, That being said, had there been a major move and it was down, I would have probably recommended to the board some kind of a relatively smaller allocation to domestic energy, domestic equity, not energy. So any questions, excuse me while I lose my voice here, about this presentation part? I'll go into the details on 1A. The fund performance for the month. The loser, as one would expect, was global equity, which is domestic, international, and emerging. Having said international has done very well year to date. And that's where the whole idea is, so one offsets the other. It's about half the size of the domestic equity allocation, and emerging growth, I gotta stop saying that, emerging, was up slightly. Anyways, the worst performer for the month at 3.9% negative was global equity. The best performance was private equity. So we eked out, I believe, a little bit year to date with the private equity exposure compared to the general allocation. For calendar year, 1 year, the global equity is still the worst performer at 1.85%. And the best performance is the global fixed income of 3.3%. Jumping over to 3 years, the worst, real estate, -3. The best is Timberland. It comes into the play. Hasn't been that for a while at 6.9%. 5 years, the worst remains, so now it goes back to fixed income, -1.9. The best private equity still hanging in there, those long-term returns of 16%. And then taking the last one, the 10-year one, again, core fixed income is the worst. 10 years, we've averaged 1%. That's what the fund has done over 10 years, 1%. So it wasn't a good place to be for very long time frames. And the best performing one is private equities at 16.53. Any questions on that presentation? Okay. Yeah, just to reiterate what I mentioned earlier, the fact we've got this 3.1 million above the line into the portfolio. When it's bad times, it's nice to have that guaranteed return. When the market starts getting back to some kind of semi-normalcy and it's up to 8 or 9%, maybe 10-ish if we're lucky, it's a drag on it because it's still going to be paying 4% or maybe less. So it could be bad. It
Yeah,
could
we
be
can
bad.
move it, right?
Please.
We can move it.
No.
So
Yeah.
it won't be a
Absolutely.
drag once we,
And the way it's going, when you need money out, it comes out of the,
But all we
So-
have to do is leave enough in, like, for one of our biggest months, but we could bring it back down to like 600,000.
okay, yeah, not the way.
Until,
Yeah, so those times that $12,000 earned for this year, this last month rather, that's not going to be an annualization going forward. I wish it would be in a way, particularly when you're not having a very positive year yet, but that could all turn around, if volatility goes away, if there's some kind of semblance of order in this country, that could be another one too, so, and elsewhere. Right. If, referring back to 1B on your packets out here, and I believe it's the number I had quoted to you on it for cash investment is the third page. They don't seem to patch anything straight, huh?
I've been giving them the summary page,
Okay.
so he's looking at the
Okay.
cash statement.
I'm looking at the details under cash investment where it's a 12,191 number for the month of March, which I didn't realize you don't have the full package. Not that you're missing much, but I dig into the details on it. So price, PE, the private equity has done well this past month, better than the general market has been. Again, it's doing its job. The other notification we received very recently was that on May 1st, which is this week coming, there'll be $18,008 moved over into further investments. You have that one, Penny?
Yep.
That is 1D.
Mhm.
See it and find you actually on. And the drawdowns for the month was 38,000. I'm rounding them off. The distributions were 20,000. So the net difference between those two essentially is the $18,000 that's going in for additional investments. They provide a life to date activity, which is the third and the last page. And we have targeted over the years, beginning back in 2012, a total of $6,450,000, of which they adjusted that sums that we had requested down to 5 million, just about even. That will increase because we haven't yet funded the last 2 years to the requests we've made it with. So that'll eventually get back up and close to what we had asked for. Of the 5 million that they have adjusted or given us a potential for, we have drawn 3.5 million-ish from that one. And of which distribution to date was $1,881,000, almost exactly half, just slightly more than half than the drawn. So we've gotten as many distributions, half as many distributions back as to what we've made investments on. So it is paying, it continues because we've had it long enough, 10 years plus, to be able to do that. That seems to be working fine. And then one of the, I don't know, miscellaneous, you don't really label these, Patty,
I think I made it one NB. This is, which one are you on?
I'm looking for the one that dated March 20th,
The Gatsby, the Gatsby information.
the Gabby.
I think I emailed that to you, the Gatsby information, but wasn't that last month?
It was, yeah, dated March 20.
Yep.
Yeah, there's different ways that they report on this. So this one that came in recently that Patty had sent out is GASB 67 and 68, whatever that means. But it's a money weighted in IRR, which is an internal rate of return. And on that, the last page, it's one liner, but summary, they come up with 9.02 for a money weighted internal rate of return for the year 2024. 902. I contrast that with the Mass Prit, which comes up with 908. And I then look at the one for the Prit fund summary, which comes to 907. So whichever number you like, go for it. I've noticed this before, a slight difference, 908, 907, 902. I can understand why this one would be different if
I'm
it
not
is.
sure we had some. Did we have
We
those?
did, I think we actually looked at it a little bit last month. I'm pretty sure we did, but nothing else. I know I emailed it out to Gatsby. It's usually information the Gatsby auditors, I think, use more.
Right.
But if you want, I'll re-forward that. It's a March 20th email. Right. That, I thought we talked a little bit about it,
Yeah, so.
but they're always slightly different.
Yeah, I don't know which, one. Again, 908, let's go with 908. Why not? They give us the option of doing that one. Just in general, reading some data today, they're talking about the second quarter, which we're in now for this year, could be the worst one of the year. Things are slowing down. They're lowering earnings forecast on a pretty broad basis. A lot of companies aren't offering full year projections. They just don't know. There's too many unknowns. So you can't project, or you can, but if you want to be wrong, give it a shot. But basically, they're not doing much more than they have to be putting onto for information. And as the word it's shaping up to be the worst period for this year's earnings. So I guess they're thinking this second quarter adjustment with the volatility is going to be the worst potential for the year. They could be wrong too.
I think, is that, so on April 11th, I forwarded that Crick put out, which talked about how tariffs and all that.
Yeah, I don't think that it is buried in here in terms
But
of
it's-
response from the.
Oh, bless you. Yeah, and that's what he just talks about, what you're,
Yeah, no, he reiterates what they had iterated probably 5 years ago, and probably anytime the market seems to have some jitters that were well diversified, and they have been done, they've done well. And not to be worried, stop worrying, everybody. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing and, keep the pace. Maybe that's summarization of that mass prim.
that's what
No.
it's basically saying, everything you just said.
What do you say, please?
Everything you just said is what this is talking about,
Well, that's okay. And then everyone knows the University of Michigan, April consumer sentiment, they've been doing that for a lot of years. And it's still at the lowest level that it was since July of 2020. So people aren't going out and spending wildly yet. It's quiet. The economy is maybe quieting down. Inflation could be going up if these increases go on the tariffs. That's not going to help inflation for the country. So that's what I have to offer. If there's any questions, I'm happy to attempt an answer.
Staying pat, does anybody have any questions for him?
No,
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bring some good news next month. Bring some good news next month.
I'll do my best, but well, it's, we're down 0.5% as I sit here, so I don't know what it was to turn that negative 0.5 to a positive, but with a couple of days left. I tell you, I was surprised that it wasn't down more than when I looked at it this morning and made an estimation of it too. And even on, as I think Dave made a comment too, that based on what happened in the overall, we keep hearing about the S&P 500 because that's the one that draws all the news, and that's where the numbers come from. It's down, 3.8% in the month. So to be down 1.25%, it's never good to be down, but compared to what it could be if you're fully foot is on the gas, which we've never been. And private equity continues to help us buffer this. And that's my story for today, Mr. Chairman.
Now, is everybody all set with the last Tuesday of the month,
May 27th?
May 27th? Yeah.
I won't be.
Right? Must change it or just? All right, May 27th, then we'll,
Okay, 3:00, as always.
okay with everyone? Stan, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Enjoy the weather.
Yeah, get up there and do some yard work.
Yep.
Thanks, Stan. All right, how about, 1E? Contribution plan account? Board treasurer?
Yeah.
Motion?
Anybody have any, questions, suggestions? All in favor?
Aye.
The next one is, let's see, number 2, the draft, minutes. Anybody have
Motion to accept the draft.
motion made, seconded, Patty, anything more on cyber issues?
In what regard?
I don't know, I mean, last, oops, I thought I shut that off. Sorry, son, bye-bye. Call you back later, son, sorry. The last time on the cyber issue, I think that we're still
Well,
plugging away on it, but
Mike came in and
yeah, I
everything's
said
up to
something, but
snuff.
still it wasn't all,
Yeah, we still don't have our new computers yet, but they're working on
It's
it.
going to take a little while.
Hmm.
I forget what he said.
is that, okay.
He's hoping by April or maybe May, we'll get the new workstations.
Yeah, because I know there were some people complaining that they can't do what they're supposed to be doing, or it would help them do certain things until they get that in.
I'm fine, but
For me, I'm okay.
Yeah, but
You know.
wasn't with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. How about the, okay, we just said that. Administrative board, to the chair. How about the new, on, 9B? Ray said he was going to, add something to the, people, new hirees.
Well, 9B has to do with the mandatory training for the board, right? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm locking on the number. 9B. Thank you, Diane. Yeah, he did it.
He did that?
Yep. He added a new social security form into our new member enrollment packet.
All right, good. Anybody have anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next one, we have number 3, which is posting. Number 4, we have warrant.
motion to accept April warrant, total 560,319.44.
Motion was made, it was seconded. Eddie, I know we just had a little short discussion on it, but last month it was 400,000, now it's 560, and that's a big jump.
Well, we had to transfer out, so one of our members went to a new system and it was almost $60,000. So that in itself was just a one-time.
But that only brings it down to 500. We've gone up 100,000, so there's still a lot of other things that Must have caused that.
Um,
That's okay. I'm just bringing it to everybody's attention that it went from.
we also had another transfer out, for 12,000. And, actually, we had a refund. So those are all things for 58,000, just shy of 17,000. And, we had a $3,600 refund
And the
and a
12.
$12,000. So this month we had 2 refunds and 2 transfers out.
Nothing really happened on the top item.
Truly, no.
448,000.
Yeah, we
It's
only
pretty
added one
common.
retiree and,
All right, there's a motion made, second, and any other discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Then we have item number 5, which is refund.
we're just making a motion.
Um,
If you read it off here,
okay.
number 5.
All right.
Motion to accept Connie Fennell's refund with 3 years, 9 months creditable service.
Motion made, second, any further discussion? Patty, is this one or the next one? Are they layoffs or just people are leaving the system? Or
They're leaving,
Yeah, she's
terminating
moving.
they're just moving, it has to do with someone cutting,
No, she's moving down to
South Carolina.
South Carolina, right?
thank you.
For her.
All right, the next one also was 5A.
Motion to accept refund to Tina Wager
Mhm.
with 3 years, 2 months creditable service.
Motion made, seconded, any other further discussion, all in favor? Okay, next one is refund rollover. No, I'm sorry, we just did that one. Transfer out.
Transfer.
Yep.
Motion to accept the transfer, Deborah Goodsell. Creditable service is 3 years,
10 years, 1
10
month.
years and 1 month,
Yep.
sorry.
That's all right.
Motion made, seconded, any further discussion, all in favor? All right, then we have another transfer out.
Motion to accept the
Melissa?
transfer of Melissa Sargents to Worcester Regional with 3 years, 4 months creditable service.
Motion made, seconded, any further discussion, all in favor? All right, next, retirement, but we have no retirements this month. New enrollment,
Motion to accept
Julie.
Julie Lopez,
Mhm.
police dispatcher, effective 4/28/25.
motion made, seconded, all in favor? That was number 9, which is Perrick memo, recent investment fraud attempts. First, I was a little concerned when I started to read that because it was against the retirement board. I'm saying, oh, the retirement board is, but it's not against, it's against retirement board also, people calling in and doing things. So it's really general information, but it's for Patty and
There's been a lot.
Mary to keep on their toes.
Right. I'm gonna give you the link. You can start passing that around the 3 pages.
There's nothing else we need to do about this, Patty.
No,
Just-
Nope.
It's just
you have to keep on your
informational.
toes, that's all, okay? All right, 9A. Memo extended, the open meeting law. So we're still keeping that the way it has been for a while.
Mhm.
Extended at 27, right? Did they say 27? Yeah,
Uh,
I think it's
June 2027.
Yeah.
27, so we just keep things the way we're doing it right now. That's just information. 9B is mandatory retirement board member training. So that's for us to keep track of what we're doing.
So far, everyone's up to date.
Okay. All right, next one is the number 10, the conference on the Cape. Now, is that the same place that it usually is?
Yes. Have you
So-
named it? Yeah.
We have to take a vote just to say if anybody goes, we're approving their expenses, just that they're reasonable. That's a
Motion
motion made,
to approve.
Second.
second. We have to do that every year to make sure that, was anybody, all in favor?
Aye.
Is anybody planning to go?
No.
No?
Four full days, is it?
You don't have to go all of them, but,
I always keep saying, I'm going down right after the annual meeting.
I got a place.
but you do have to pay for it. You have to pay for the whole 4 days, but
I
you,
have a place to stay. I could go to 1 or 2, but 4 days, that's, that's a,
well, the agenda, and I guess I meant to put the agenda in there. They didn't, it's on their website. The stuff you're interested in is probably more Monday and Tuesday. Like you'll get points for
The
classes.
credits, I know.
Right.
okay.
But you have to pay for the 4 days?
If you would have to pay for the whole, register for the whole conference.
One fee.
Like the first night is more like the socializing type thing.
Yeah, I got a place I could take a class. and go down for a day.
Well, you know what? I'll get you the agenda. And if you have any,
I'd like to see the agenda. Anyway, what's this thing at the bottom of the page, Patty, in this thing?
what,
They're talking about April 7th. You know anything about that, or the annual Kevin Reagan
well,
conference?
that's what this is. That's what the.
They're
map is.
talking about registration,
Open. April 7th.
It did, I think. We
So
could have
the same-
registered at any time, so
okay, so this is not something different. This is the same thing.
it's the same thing. I think I forwarded the link, so if anyone knew for sure they could go, you could have hit the registration link right then.
Okay,
Right.
But then the thing is, they never give you the hotel information like till later, which is now we have the hotel information as well.
yeah, but it is the same place, because
Yeah.
it wasn't called that, I don't know how many years ago. Okay,
They changed the name. Yep,
I think it's the same place everybody goes to. Is that Hyannis?
it is.
Yeah, they've changed that name like 3 or 4
Yeah,
times.
it's a golf course and
Yes, it was Sheridan before.
sometimes they do it at the DoubleTree, like
Yeah.
whoever's got the most up to date. Like sometimes the DoubleTree is just renovated and they go there, but this has a lot of good rooms to have their.
yeah, I suggest from the times I went in the past, if anybody does plan going, they should try to get it into this place,
Mhm.
I think.
Makes it very convenient.
Yeah.
Oh, for
Right.
sure.
All right, does anybody have anything else to come before the board? So we decided on Tuesday, May 27th,
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion made, seconded. All in favor?
Thank
Thank you, everyone.